With the limited supply of inventory, it is getting tougher and tougher to make these videos. But I promised myself as soon as something intriguing comes by, I would take myself away from customers to show you something worth talking about. And today I got something to talk about. It's red, baby, and it is the 2022 Kona N. Let's talk about it. Street cred and racetrack bred is the hallmark of the Kona N, or so says the brochure, but from whatever angle you look at this car, you can see that it means business. Now, a lot of car manufacturers try to cash in on the funny and fun and strong names that some brands have, and Hyundai is not above that. For example, you have the Kona N line and the Kona N, which is this thing right here. What is the difference? Well, it's kind of like the difference between bodybuilders and powerlifters, whereas the Kona N line is kind of like a bodybuilder. It looks the part, but as long as it looks the part, that's good enough to win some titles. Not taking anything away, I respect all you bodybuilders, but let's compare it to the Kona N, which is more of a powerlifter, because the difference is that powerlifters are measured by their strength, and this thing has a lot to show. For example, you can notice from the outside this very aggressive body kit making the car look very different from the regular Konas. Another great thing is that you actually wrap around the rear of the car, you have this massive wing, very reminiscent of the Veloster N. And yes, just like the Veloster N, this also has a triangle tail light on the hatch, which I'm kind of digging. I'm a fan of that. And not to mention another performance-y thing, you also do have these 19-inch N exclusive rims. And yes, they are wrapped in the finest of Pirelli P0 tires, so that way you can have all that extra grip you need in case you decide to go to the track and drive it a bit frisky. Now, if this is your first time seeing my channel, you probably don't know this, but I'm a real sales consultant here in Orlando. So if you're looking for any Hyundai, including this one or Genesis for that matter, click the link below that says schedule with Miguel. That way I can guarantee that once you get here, you'll be getting me, because if you just show up to my dealership and deal with whoever, you're probably gonna end up feeling it in your wallet. But if you want the best deal, click the link below and let me help you out. Now, getting back to the car, like I said, I'm a salesperson. So I'm gonna go completely against my training and tell you why you probably shouldn't buy this car. Well, one indication that the Kona N might not be a vehicle for you is if you're one of those people who say, I will never buy a car if it doesn't have a sunroof, because none of the Kona Ns at this current moment in time have a sunroof, because sunroofs add weight, and these are performance cars. They do not want to add weight, so none sunroof on the Kona N. Secondly, what about color? Well, the Kona N brings four. You have ultra black, you have sonic blue, not performance blue, mind you, you have lunar white, and you have this beautiful racing red that you see right here before you. Now, what about the interior? Well, you do not get full leather. You kind of get close, because you do have the suede and leather combo. That way, if you're hitting those corners really tightly, the suede will actually help hold you in your seat. But if you need full leather, you are not going to get a Kona N line unless you're going to do some leather work by yourself. So wait, in all seriousness, you mean to tell me that Hyundai consciously developed a car that doesn't even offer features most people would consider important? Yes, that is exactly what they did, and I'll tell you why. They understand that the second you try to please everybody is the second you end up pleasing nobody. So if you need a big three-row family hauler, the Kona N is not for you, but you may end up liking this video right here. Click on the Palisade, check that one out. I'm sure you're going to like it if that's your niche. But if you're looking for a practical, impractical car at the same time, the Kona N all the way, and I mean that in the least confusing way possible. It's practical because that four-cylinder will give you 23 miles per gallon combined city highway. You still have four doors to take the people you like around with you on thrilling adventure drives, and if one of those people needs help moving, you can throw down the seats to accommodate whatever it is you need to help them move with. But the impractical part is that that same four-cylinder develops right about 276 horsepower, and it pops and bangs and spits like it's a Group B rally car that got reincarnated, and you are still covered by America's best warranty, 10-year 100,000 mile powertrain, baby. You're welcome. Now that I'm inside the car, I could finally show you how the car actually sounds, because it's running right now. And for those of you that has stayed this long in the video, I feel that it's time to reward you. Now, if you've ever seen the inside of the Kona Limited, it's basically the same as the Kona N with a couple new buttons. First off, you still have the eco mode, you still have the normal mode, and you still have the snow mode. So if you're in one of those modes, I call it the creep modes because it really makes the car a little bit quieter. So if you would happen to rev it up in any one of those modes, this is what the car would sound like. If you happen to put it in sport mode, this is what the car is going to sound like. It shuts or opens the valve and it sounds a lot more peppy. But wait, there's more. As any good salesperson would go ahead and tell you, should you decide to engage the N button, not only does it sound revvy like it's in sport, but the N mode actually enables the pops and bangs and crackles. Check it out. I love that. Again, this is not the only vehicle on sale right now. If you want to get something that really makes you feel excited, technically you can go and get the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quattrofoglio. It has 500 horsepower, but it's also more than double the price of this thing, coming in right about $85,000, where the MSRP of this is right about $35,000, which is bonkers once you consider all the things that you actually do get with the N. I don't know if you're a movie buff like I am, but I hope you remember that original Men in Black. Remember that little button where K says to J, don't push the little red button, and then eventually he tells him to push the little red button and the car transforms? Well, this car, this Kona N, has a little red button. It says NGS. I believe it stands for N-Grin Shift, and correct me in the comments below if I am wrong. But what it does, from what I've been able to read up until this point, it actually allows for 20 seconds of additional overboost from the turbo. So if you grew up on video games, right now there is a car that has a real life turbo button. It allows you to get in and out. So if you are driving down the racetrack and you need a little bit of extra something to pass that Miata that's in front of you, hit NGS and you are gone, baby. Getting back to the digital dash, another great thing, not only is it digital, but if you are on the N mode, you can actually customize what you actually see on the dash, because another cool thing is that you can see things like turbo pressure and torque at the moment of driving. If you actually happen to go down, you can actually see lap times on the dash in front of you. Obviously a G meter, because what sports car isn't complete without a G meter? And finally, you also do have a tire pressure display to let you know the pressures and the tires you are at right in front of you. But let's say you need a little bit more information. Now we would go to the big navigation touchscreen, because that would actually bring a little bit more info, because once you actually swipe over and hit N mode, you get to see a bunch of cool things. Not only a nice little graphic, but you get to see things like throttle input, oil temperature. You even can see what percentage of the brakes that you're using as you press it, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, if we swipe over again, something else is that you can set up everything. You can set up the engine into Sport Plus. You can set the steering, suspension, transmission, exhaust sound, absolutely everything. And not only do you see the G-force meter, but this is where you're actually going to find your launch control. So if you need a lively start, activate launch control and off you will go. And so guys, that has been a quick little video on the 2022 Hyundai Kona. And no, I didn't go over every single little detail of the car because that would take way too long and I'm too far for that. But if you liked the video, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share it. That way we can keep on growing this channel big and strong. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below, because I would love, and I do love, to hear things from you guys. And the things that I don't love to hear, I just delete anyway, because my YouTube channel, baby. But until next time, I'm the Guy, your car guy, and I'll see you soon. All right, guys. Those of you that have watched this deep, I think it is recording. All right. Something amazing comes in, so I take myself away from cut.